Yo, what do you want? Beak or jaws? Feathers or fur? Sharp teeth or feet with claws? Whatever's preferred. Just kidding, every word in this song's about two grown men dressed up as a bird and a dog.
Welcome to the Wolf and Owl email special. wolfowlpod@gmail.com if you want to send us anything in. This is where we listen to your questions, we look at your problems, dilemmas, and we offer whatever help
and we
can.
divulge into your lives in a way that's not creepy and...
I don't think I gave an interrupt signal there.
You always do, you do this.
And shall we crack
your
on?
Your voice slows ever so slightly.
Does it?
Yeah.
Shall we crack on with the first email, Tom?
I would love that.
Would you like to read it or shall I?
Dear Tomsky and Romsky, you're both absolute legends and I love the pod. I only discovered about it a year ago, courtesy of Ed Gamble. Shout out Ed Gamble. Well, that's really sweet of Ed Gamble, isn't it?
He listens quite a lot, apparently.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, shout out Ed.
Every now and again he texts me.
He, by the way, the other day really made me laugh. We were having some barbecue-based humour. And he really, yeah.
Sounds like a had to be there moment. Okay, anyway, carry on.
I'm
So
very
really
glad.
gutted to miss out on Ed and yours barbecue banter. Anyway, carry on.
I'll tell you what, Ed would be a great barbecue guest.
Yeah, I bet he would. Yeah.
But I'm very glad I did so. Still catching up on it all. I've got about a year's worth of pods to go. My point of discussion is this. Isn't he going to be mad in about a year when he hears this? And he goes, fuck, I made it. My point of discussion is, I like dogs. I've always had one in the family growing up on a farm and spent a lot of time with him in order not to spend time with my parents. Make of that as you will. But post-COVID, my love of dogs has dwindled. I know both of you have owned dogs. So what do you think about dogs being present in pubs, restaurants, and being near the table? I've been at restaurants tables recently and dogs have been barking away and close to my plate of food. I feel like it impacts the experience of enjoyment of my meal out, which isn't cheap, by the way, not to mention the hygiene questions it raises. My question is, do you think society needs to dial back on the bit where dogs have access to places where humans are eating? I'll be very interested to hear your thoughts. Love you both. You're beacons of hope, and I hope you don't retire from the public eye when you're 50, Rom. I think we can all agree with that, because we love Rom. We adore him. He's a beautiful human being. Lots of love, the traumatized turkey.
Can we talk about this 50 thing?
Yeah.
Right?
By the way, every time he says it, I want to, boo, stick with it, you're the best. If you see Romesh out and about, I want you to go, don't you dare, you're the best, mate. We can't live without you. Boo!
I think
Stay on, I want to see you at 55 and 60 and 65.
You won't see me at 65, I'll be dead. But I think we all know that I'm not going to completely disappear at 50. I was merely...
Well, you're being as dramatic. You're like one of those people who go, I'm coming off Facebook for a while.
Yeah. It was a bit like that. But I was talking out because I was seriously thinking about, certain things that you won't do anymore and blah, blah, blah. So I'm just talking about it with a mate. What I didn't expect is for it to get picked up by the newspapers.
Yeah, I mean, it was insane. That was the biggest, It
wasn't the biggest. It was a very slow news day.
But no, there was hardly... Mate, the World Cup was just beginning.
Yeah.
It was, it was a day after the England game.
Yeah.
That was how bad the England game was.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's have a chat about this dog thing. We're both dog lovers, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yeah. Although I've become a member of the Cat League now.
Yes,
I'm
you
a
have.
cat now. But I still very much like dogs. We've got a bit of a sort of dilemma in the house at the moment. Me and Grace are both very keen on getting another dog.
Right.
Catherine's quite traumatized.
Auntie.
She's very traumatized about what happened with the last dog.
Yeah, and understandably
She's got a lot
so.
of PTSD.
That must have been hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's quite sad. And she's comes from a house where they've always had dogs.
Mm.
But anyway, alas, to this person's question. Have we humanized to... I do think there's an element of when I see a dog go past in a pram that I think that is...
How often is that happening?
There's a woman who lives near me and she's
so it's
constantly
happening a lot.
walking around.
That's what happens when you live in affluent areas. Dogs in handbags, dogs in prams.
Dogs in a rucksack. You said on the back.
That,
yeah. I always think that's when they start licking the back of your head when it's sweating. It must be horrible.
God, dogs love sweat. I'll tell you what else dogs love: cocoa butter.
What? Oh, please don't tell me that you've...
That I've what? Go on, finish a sentence.
No, that you've covered yourself in cocoa butter and let the dogs lick it off.
No. Well, sort of. I regularly cover myself in cocoa butter.
Do you know this will get no press?
I regularly cover myself in cocoa butter. I mean,
by the way, is that a thing?
What?
The cocoa butter thing. That's good, right?
Well, I tend to moisturise top to bottom
Every day?
twice a day.
What?
When I wake up in the morning and before I go to bed.
Oh my gosh! Do you have a shower before you go to bed?
Sometimes.
I always have a shower before I go to bed, but I'm not moisturising.
What do you think about? And I'm nervous to say this because having a shower before bed,
Yeah.
and then not having a shower till just before bedtime the next day.
No, I couldn't do that. That's, by the way, personal. That's just on me.
But
I sweat.
I could not do that.
Yeah. But you don't get BO, do you?
I do. I think I do. It's funny you say that because Lisa says I don't ever get it, but I feel like I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, sometimes in the morning when I've cocoa buttered,
Yeah.
I'll come downstairs in a pair of shorts.
Yeah.
And if
Still
the dogs clock onto the fact I've just cocoa buttered, it's a bit of a nightmare for me.
Are they all over you?
Yeah, and then
That's nice.
so it's a bit. It's a bit
Feel like it's so much affection.
tickly. So I have to sort of
Do you sit
get
on
away.
You sit on like the kitchen island like that with your legs up, going, "Leave it, you horny devils."
But so anyway, the point is, I do love dogs. We both do.
Yeah.
I actually do think you've got a point about them being at restaurants.
I do
and stuff
agree.
Like that. I think one of the issues that I've got with dog owners, and I'm speaking as one myself, is that they assume that everybody loves dogs as much as they do.
Yeah.
And it's just not the case. And some people find them frightening. Some people are just not into them. And I think that it's a bit different to kids. It's like going to a restaurant, if you're a bit uncomfortable about dogs or you're not used to being around dogs, and then one's near you during your meal.
Yeah.
I actually think you're all right. I think you're justified to be pissed off about that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? But then I suppose the same could be said of like we do that with kids. You do a thing with
I think
kids.
it's a bit different, isn't it?
No, but like I think sometimes I've genuinely taken Grace to restaurants, and just as the starter's been finished, I think we probably should have just gone to Wagamama's. This is probably not the right place.
Well,
I think I personally find that with the dog thing, I think. And a lot of it comes down to breed, right? Like if it's a cute little dog that's just quietly sitting there. We went out not so long ago and we went to a pub for lunch, and there was one of the most terrifying dogs I've ever seen. And I was like, looks can be deceptive. It might be a really friendly dog. So I sort of, as I was going to the toilet, so I sort of walked past and it sort of stood up and growled, like terrifying. So then you have to go to Grace, who loves dogs. Don't go anywhere near that dog. And then you could see most of the restaurant were absolutely terrified of this, this really aggressive dog. And by the way, that's breed-wise, that's all down to owners, right?
Yeah.
But it completely destroyed everyone's meal. Everyone was so on edge that this dog might just go mad at any one point and start just devouring people.
Yeah.
It was, So I did, but I think it's quite strict now if you go to places that aren't allowed them, right?
Yeah, and I think, regards to your point about kids, I think people with kids generally are quite self-policing. Like I think when our kids were really young, there's certain places you just go, we ain't going to go there for a while. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's certain places where you can see by the restaurant, this isn't the sort of place we've got to bring our kids. But sometimes you get it wrong, and you think it would be okay. And then our boys, like when there was a particular time when our boys were they were a nightmare when you go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple of times when Lisa and I'd gone to a restaurant and the kids are just being kids, right? They're just being noisy kids. And you just go, actually, in hindsight, we shouldn't have brought them here. On one occasion or a couple of occasions, we've sat down and we've looked around, and then we decided that we shouldn't be here with the kids. And so we've got up and left before we've even ordered any food. You sort of you make the realization. So I think there's a bit of self-policing. With dogs, though, I think that if it's a dog-friendly restaurant, I think you can't really complain too much. If the establishment has decided they want to welcome dogs, and that's it. But I think I do understand why you might not be comfortable about it.
It's a weird thing as well, because I mentioned there about the dogs and like spending a long time. I felt like that about my dog, like when I was saying about like the amount of time that I spent during COVID, weirdly, like, and I've moved up to an area quite a long way away from my family, friends and everything. And I spent so long, me and Catherine together, but Catherine had friends there, so she'd quite often see her mates, and I didn't really know anyone. So I spent so much time with with our dog. It was sort of like the bond between us over that COVID was so tight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very special relationship, I think. So, and I can see, because it'd be really easy to sit here and sort of take the mick out of people humanising animals and dogs, but I can see where actually there's an element of that happens when you're when you have that relationship, it can become very comforting in a situation.
Lisa and I have a disagreement about it's an ongoing point of contention how much he humanises our dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I was never like, oh, he thinks this or he says that. It was more that I just felt comfort in him being around.
Oh, I think it's right to be comforting, but Lisa, she loves those dogs.
Yeah, I think you're loving the dogs.
I love the dogs too,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is like, she's.
Does she give them little personalities?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have personalities. They're very different.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're thinking, oh, Daddy's a bit grumpy today. I don't think they're thinking that.
She doesn't do that voice, does she?
No, thank God.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say.
Only when I ask. But anyway, the point is...
Well, you make her call you Daddy, don't you?
We do like this little Scooby-Doo role play.
She dresses up
brings
as
up like
Scooby-Doo.
a big sandwich.
She dresses you dress as...
What's going on, me?
and you dress as Shaggy.
Okay. Shall we... That's the extent of my Shaggy impression.
That's the least sexy role play ever.
Hi, Wolf, Owl, Cat and Swan. Cat and Swan don't need to be addressed. I mean, we should address this.
Yeah,
Cat and Swan have no involvement. They're not even. I don't even think they're listening. Are they?
Yeah,
does Catherine listen to this?
No. People come up to her now and say, "Oh my God, we heard the story the other day," and she's like, "I stopped listening." Like, yeah, after COVID.
I don't think Lisa's across this.
She's given up with the emails now.
Yeah,
John's like the new Lisa and Cat.
Yeah, and speaking of John, any old shit you want to send in to wolfowlpod@gmail.com, please do.
Pictures of ingrown hairs or
codes that you want broken.
Ingrown toenails.
Yeah, stuff like that. He loves that. He loves cysts being ruptured.
I actually quite enjoy that.
Yeah. I need some advice desperately. I've been with my fiance for 3 years now.
Yippee!
A little backstory. We met when she started working in a pub, which is my local.
Oh,
she was in a relationship and had a son. We started seeing each other while she was in said relationship. Her ex found out and then she broke up with me. A few months later, we got back together after she broke up with her ex.
It's like EastEnders.
It's tumultuous,
yeah.
Took 2 years for her to finally make the jump and move in with me. In that time, we've been together. But she was living with her ex and son. Within this time, she kept me a secret from her son and her ex. Fucking hell, this is quite complicated.
Yeah.
She moved in with me in November 2025, but she had to leave her son as he wanted to stay with the dad and not live with her. Still, he doesn't know about me, nor does her ex. Oh, my God. She goes round every night after work to see her son, apart from Tuesdays and Saturdays. She recently only just plucked up the courage to tell her ex that she is seeing someone, but hasn't told him it's me. We went to Spain This is wild. We went to Spain last week and she had to lie to say that she went with a friend. When her son's father calls, I have to remain silent all the time. Whilst in Spain, her son asked a few questions and she had a massive panic attack and couldn't breathe, worried about them finding out. After discussion, we decided she had to tell her ex and her son it's me she's seeing. We got engaged on Valentine's this year. We're trying for a baby. But I feel if she can't tell her ex and son about me, it's going to either end up killing her from a panic attack or make us argue far more. I'm fed up with hiding our relationship and staying silent in my own home. I also really want to try and build a relationship with her son, just like she has with mine. I want to shout about our love and put pictures up on social media and so on. Sorry for long email. The Goblin Shark. What the fuck's a Goblin Shark? I know that's not the point, but...
Yeah, no, Goblin Shark sounds quite cool, though. It sounds like, Finding Nemo.
What a fucking mess this is, by the way.
This is crazy. Yeah. Have you ever been anyone's secret love?
No, but equally, I don't think people have wanted to shout from the rooftops about me.
All for I've been someone's sort of bit on the side.
Yeah, I'm not massively surprised.
But I didn't know I was.
You didn't know you were a secret.
I didn't know I was a secret and a bit on the side for quite some time, and it was quite a sort of. I remember how I found out was terrible, and then sort of kind of tried to cut things off, but then didn't, and sort of the relationship the person was in was quite a wasn't a particularly nice one, and they were having trouble leaving and everything. So I felt like I can't just then desert the person. But at this point, you're like, and then then you're never too sure what's true and what's not. And it's not a very. I think it kind of has an impact on your self-worth. So I guess that's what's happening here, the basis that you're in a relationship and you're looking at moving things forward, But I think it obviously feels like quite a lot of stuff is set in a place where it feels like, you know, that she's hanging on to a lot of her past, and it's obviously a very it's hard obviously because we're reading, we don't know all the details, so you don't know whether her ex has got if there's any kind of
mental health things,
or even if there's a slight element of fear there, and you know, there's the worry that, you know, if your son has chosen to live with her ex, her son, sorry, and then you're in a situation where she worries, then I guess that would have a massively detrimental effect to her relationship with her son. Would she still be able to see the son? I think that the thing about more than anything is that when it comes to something like in this situation, when you're dealing with children and when you're dealing with matters of the heart like this, and the relationship that you have, I think you kind of at some point are going to have to be, or she's going to have to be honest. And I think, you know, if you're going to move forward, you know, for example, if you're trying for a kid and you have a kid, that's going to be a very hard, you know, thing to keep quiet, that you're the new person in her life. And I think, you know, I certainly, from my own experience of this, felt constantly that, yeah, you question your self-worth, you questioned that you weren't really ever enough. And I always just kind of thought, and this is only speaking from a personal experience, is that I sort of felt like I was a bit of a stopgap in a situation. That it was just something that was just, so I think what I'd say is, but I'm also you don't know, unless this is thing, we don't know the ins and outs. So it's very hard though then to push someone. I'd say to get her to actually speak to a specialist, like a therapist or someone, and allow her to articulate to someone who's not yourself. I wouldn't put too much pressure on her having to tell you everything she talks about a therapist, but I'd say when it comes to like having something like this big that she's hiding from her child, and you know, that it's just not going to be good for her. It eats away at you, that stuff. So I think it's just making sure that you're there for her, you're supportive, maybe speak to her about speaking to someone else and just saying, look, give her a bit of space to do that. But I also then would just take a little moment for her to address where she's at with life before you start going into the next few steps of your relationship. I'd just make sure you solidify her mental well-being, your mental well-being, and then you start talking about things like marriage and have another child. Because I just think at the moment, I'd just take a beat and just say, look, let's just get this thing sorted. Let's just try and get us sorted as a couple and move forward. And that's my advice.
Great advice from Tommy D. I don't think you're in a stable place to be pushing a relationship any further currently. I think that the nature in which your relationship started was a little bit sort of covert and clandestine, and I think that's bled into basically you're having an affair. You know, it's all of the hallmarks of an affair, but it isn't. And so she's gone so far down the road of not telling her ex and not telling her son that it's become bigger and bigger and bigger. It shouldn't have got this far. I mean, the truth is, like, going on holiday with your partner and keeping it a secret from her son and her ex is just a bit. And it's none of her ex's business if they don't have a child together, but they do. That is what complicates the situation. I think she needs to just tell them, you know, because you're trying for a kid. And the fact that she's not willing to tell her ex I would say, is a bit of a red flag, to be honest with you. I'm not saying that she's pining for him, but I think it's just a bit, she's in a relationship with you now. And I think it's very easy, and I'm saying that as somebody that's done, not done this specifically, but who's struggled to tell people difficult things. It's always best to say, and you're not in control of how the other person reacts. She's got to own that. She's in a relationship with you now, and it sounds very, very serious. You're engaged. You're going to have a kid, or you're trying for a kid. These are things that you cannot keep secret from her son. So, and she's actually not being very nice to, not deliberately, but inadvertently not being very nice to her son, and not being very nice to you, and not being very nice to herself. So this all gets made a lot easier by pushing this out into the open. And I think that's what she needs to do. And I think that actually there is an argument to not apply pressure necessarily, but to suggest to her that you don't feel comfortable while this is all a big secret. I think that's a fair thing to say. Or you explain what your feelings are and then you let her react how she reacts. But the truth is, it cannot be. This is the current situation you're in is...
It's toxic.
It's not good in the slightest. So good luck to you. Hope it all goes well. Please do keep in touch.
Big love, friend. I think that's it, guys. Thank you for sending those in. And if you want to get in touch, you can email the wolfowlpod@gmail.com.
Get rid of the because they'll think that's part of the email address.
You can email wolfowlpod@gmail.com. Anything you need, and if it's just a personal little message for someone I like to call John, then make sure you do that too. Thanks, friends.
Really good that you handled the admin of that.
Yeah, no, I just
Really
thought, yeah.
Thanks,
I feel
man.
kind of like quite emotional after that last email.
Really good. Me too.
So we're doing another recording straight from this. I'm a bit of a miss. I have to. I've only got 2 t-shirts, so I need to go and get another t-shirt.
Well, here is we've got a little treat for you. That's, I guess, not really a treat for anyone listening or watching, but a treat for us. Tom, you are going to decide what we wear for the next episode, aren't you?
Yeah. So hold up. Am I carte blanche to push your limits?
Yeah, but not. I don't want a full outfit. Just
no.
Just the top.
Just the top. Yeah.
Carte blanche. Yeah. But
Something
please get something. Don't get something tight.
No, I'm not going to get anything tight, but like a singlet.
Yeah. You've
Like a
got carte
vest.
blanche. Yeah, but don't nothing Spurs, nothing too tight.
I'm not going to get anything Spurs. I'm not
All
spending that kind of money after what happened to me and John with the bloody Arsenal shirt.
First of all, don't pretend that you had any skin in the game.
What
with
happened
the
to Paul? John's
Banter
been
Cannon
mortified by that. He's so upset.
He doesn't look that upset now. He looks delighted. All right, well, we'll see you next time.
Wait for the first game of next season. Promise.
No. What do you mean? Based on what?
We'll get the Premier League winners medals on there.
No, on the Banter Cannon shirt. No. All right. See you next time in Tom's Choice.